So I don't think they want you to know that Antarctica goes all the way around the outside edge. Now, if there is a sphere, then there has to be a formula for how far out and how far down the drop is. There has to be, right? The curvature formula, right?
Okay.
So this is the formula. 8 inches times a mile squared, because it's on a curve. This is Chicago across Lake Michigan, 60 miles. You shouldn't see any of it. And yet we can see Chicago right there. Here's one at 100 miles. Last Sunday we were down, 6 of us were down at Ocean City. We go down the 3rd time we were there this year. And you can see down south, 20 miles to Avalon. Not only do you see the water towers, you can see the shoreline. Now, how is that over 20 miles? And then if you look a little further left, you see Wildwood, and that's 30 miles away, and you can still see the ground. So why is that? Where's the curvature? Over that distance, they should be hidden under 300 feet of water. The water. So, this is what it looks like. The sun and the moon.
We're ready.
Excuse me, I'm standing here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shouldn't go behind the door.
Hey.
What's that? Oh, you brought that up here? Great.
Yes, I did. I'm giving my 30-second speech to everybody, and you ran into me.
Watch the door when
So the Earth is flat, and the sun and moon do the rotating. The Earth does not move. It's stationary. Just like the ancient documents say, it's stationary. Okay? Now, when you watch this video called 200 Proofs, it's down at the bottom. Okay? Then you'll have to study perspective. This is something they do not teach you in the schools. It's how your eyes work at a distance. You know those railroad tracks continue, but you can't see them. There's 4 planes coming together, the railroad tracks and the top and the bottom. So it goes to a vanishing point. But when it's the horizon, it's only 2 planes coming together. And if you go up higher, you can see further because your plane has changed.
Now explain to them how boats go over the horizon.
Yes, boats, you say the boat goes over the horizon and that's why we know it's curved? Nah, because we have these P900 zoom cameras now. You can zoom in on it and bring it right back into focus.
I love this.
So it is not a curvature. It's a trick of the eyes, and they're telling us one thing and it's not. Okay? So here's a proof. Here's a very good proof. If it's flat, you'll get a line of reflection. Now, how many romantic sunsets have you seen with your honey? You see that line coming to you, right? If it's a curve, you only get a spot. And you can do that at home. Get a glossy piece of paper and a light bulb. And you can play with that and test it yourself. Okay?
What's that word says always never? What's that one?
This is water. Water is always flat on the top. It's never curved, and it never conforms to the shape. And it never...
Get out of my way, man.
And it never sticks to the outside of a ball. Have you ever seen it sticking to the outside of a ball? No.
This ain't protest.
This is oceans. We're talking oceans. Okay. So look.
I'm the vice president. I just want to make sure that's everything.
No protest.
So what could possibly be holding it on? Everybody's going to say, well, gravity, right? Is there possibly another explanation for gravity? Yes, there is. And I'll tell you what that is. I want you to remember this picture here, though. This is star trails. You hold the aperture open and it makes circles. This is Polaris, right? So come over here. This is, okay, right here. It's called diamagnetism. Do you know there's free electricity up there in the atmosphere? Do you know there's free electricity? Nikola Tesla, he knew that. He was going to give us all these towers and give us free electricity. And J.P. Morgan said, where do we put the meter? And he said, you don't. It's free for everybody. And they ruined him. They ruined him. He died penniless.
Yes, I heard of Tesla, yes.
Tesla was a good guy. J.P. Morgan, bad guy. Okay? So, yeah, there's free electricity up there. So what happens is there's an electromagnetic force field, a torus field. It looks like a donut. There's a hole in the center and it comes up and around. The electricity actually comes up out of the North Pole. It excites the elements in the lower atmosphere, and that is the aurora borealis. You all know about that, right? Then it comes up and it goes around the dome, which I'll get to in a second. There is a dome. It goes through the sun, which I believe is a filament, a positively charged filament. Then it goes out through the moon, which is a negatively charged filament. That's the only thing I am theorizing about. Curvature, you can test for yourself. You can find it or not find it because you won't find curvature.
Do not go to the Flat Earth Society.
Yeah, Flat Earth Society is a controlled opposition. You know what that is? The government puts out stuff to fool you. Just like when Obama, he said 3 times in speeches, we don't have time for the meeting of the Flat Earth Society, and everybody laughs. See, they do that to mock us, so we don't go there, so we don't look into it. But to me, that was a real clue. Hey, maybe I should look into that, you know? So, this diamagnetism actually...
What is it when if you were to start in the center and travel all the way out to the end of
Okay,
the flat Earth?
let me finish the diamagnetism and I'll get to that in a second. Okay, you got plenty of time to get in there. Diamagnetism is actually a repelling force. So we're not being pulled down by gravity, we're being pushed down. So that would explain a lot of things, wouldn't it? It really would, because we can do anti-gravity by polarization. We have these trains that freaking run off the tracks, right? Okay, so here's the flat Earth map. The Tropic of Cancer is pretty much the same as it is on the globe. The equator, oh no, it's smaller, I'm sorry, a little bit smaller. The equator's probably the same, but the Tropic of Capricorn is much, much bigger. If you're down in the southern regions, the outer regions, you will see the sun. You can look at the sun and it will actually move across the sky. It goes that fast. It actually moves faster when it's down in the southern regions. Southern meaning out. Okay? And you said what? You're starting at the North Pole and then what?
Start at the North Pole and you go straight in any direction. What do you reach?
Okay. If you're going this way, you're going south.
Yeah, but what do you reach when you get here?
You get to Antarctica. Antarctica goes all the way around the outside edge, and that's there's a picture of it over there. There are 200 feet high ice wall and bridges. They hold it
You
in.
hit an ice wall. Yeah. So if you walk all the way, or you go to a boat,
you'll go south.
The government won't even let you get
You're not allowed there because of the Antarctic Treaty.
Yeah, there's a treaty.
The government won't
So,
let you get to the ice.
if you're here and you go,
They'll allow you to
so
go.
all the pilots and everybody who has a perspective, they're all in on this, and they all won't.
they want their jobs. It's a good mix of everybody. There's a mix of everyone. They just trust the instruments. They don't think. They're just doing a job. They know, but they don't want to say anything. So there's a whole mixture of people.
Gotcha.
Okay, and the same goes with the scientists. Most of the astronauts are Freemason.
So this is like the only thing that the whole world can agree on is this.
They
lie,
keep secrets. That's why.
right?
Wow.
Because we get all these different governments to buy into the same lie, right?
There's a treaty.
There's a treaty. There's a treaty
NASA
about
is
this
the
lie.
same. If you look at all the logos for NASA all over the world, they're pretty much the same.
Trust me, I thought it was lunacy.
Now, do you
When I
guys
first
ever
heard
watch
this.
Ancient Aliens? You ever see that show?
Yeah, but they have some things which are interesting and some that are not.
Now, they say that the pyramids were actually power sources.
I could believe that more than I believe they were a tomb.
And they say, like, everywhere
Yeah.
around the world, pyramids are here and there.
Yes,
And they
there are.
extract energy
Pyramids
out
all
of the
over.
pyramids.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yes.
of things that are kept.
And
from
yeah,
us, so-
look into Mud Fossil University. That's another thing.
Mud
Woo!
Fossil
Mud Fossil
University.
on YouTube. So this is what NASA puts out. Same diameter, different size of the United States. Proportionately, that cannot happen.
Now,
Okay.
what are you saying there? Same?
Same diameter. Look, 2013, 2012, they took pictures of the blue marble, which are all made up. They're composites, computer generated. So the reason I'm doing this here on the sidewalk is because I wanted to come and talk to this group, and I said something last year, and they still haven't caught on. They're just like,
You have to bring it to the board first.
so I did. And the one over in Burke County, I talked to them too. I think they're really missing out if they don't at least know about this. You know, they're not going to, it took a couple of weeks or months even to figure this out, to really accept it. Now I teach it.
What
So
difference does
basically,
it make?
you're saying the Earth is
Oh my
not
God,
round.
You're lied to.
Okay.
It's flat.
So what?
It is a flat plane and it has a dome. If you want to know about the dome, look up lightning sprites. Sprites come off of the dome. So we can actually see where it is. We can't see it.
There.
See, it's one
My
of those.
mind's wide open about everything, man. I watch Ancient Aliens. I believe that when I watch.
So what difference does it make? Well, first off, our children are being lied to in the schools. I was lied to as a child. That's child abuse. They're supposed to, by law, teach the truth in school. They know all this. This is nothing new to
Have you ever
them.
been up in a plane and looked down?
Yes, ma'am.
There is no, you don't see a curve.
No, there's no curve. The only thing you could see is either a camera has a wide-angle lens,
Here this day and the moon's
or...
here, and then another.
No, we're not talking the moon. We're talking Earth, okay? Moon and the phases, that's like,
Okay, I gotta go in.
see?
Now my question is why? Why are they lying? Why?
If
when
they
tell
can fool us, they can rule us.
about what?
If they lie to us and we believe them, they can say anything and we'll go believe them. They can say, we have interest in the Middle East, and they'll load up all our good, healthy men and ship them over there to die. So why tell us the truth? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
So you like being lied to?
No, but
Well,
so
I
that's
want
why.
the truth.
True. So you're saying that because they're lying about this?
They're lying about every freaking thing. This is the ground we're standing on.
Uh-huh.
What won't they lie about? They lie about everything.
Now what's that in the picture of?
Where?
All those houses there. That one.
Well, they're satellites, right? How come they're not?
Satellite dishes never
Yeah.
pointed up.
How come they don't point up?
They point to a ground tower.
It's all a ground-based system. All ground-based
It's
system.
all ground-based.
Yes.
Because if planes would never get lost if it was satellites were up.
Right.
Because we'd never lose
Because there's
anything.
nothing in between them and the satellite, ever.
Right.
Except a cloud.
Now are all these people going in here that agree with you or
No.
they disagree with you?
No, they're here for another kind of meeting, and I wanted to speak to them about the subject.
Oh, what are they here for a meeting about?
It's a tea party
today's
thing.
tea
Right
party,
there,
yeah.
see? On there.
We're at the tea party. So tonight is we're going to be discussing the loony left.
See, and that's what I'm thinking. How can they have somebody talking about the loony left and they won't even entertain something that's the
Now,
truth?
one thing I love is Trump, man. He's great. And I believe that the media is...
All bought off.
The longer he's in office, the more people realize what's going on.
The media is all bought off.
Look at how good the economy's going now because of him.
So I will come and
what
speak to
happened-
any
what
group
happened
that
to all
you
the
have.
presidents before him?
I will speak to any
Why is the
group.
economy so good now and in the last 50 years it was no good?
You can't convince the
Because
left of
Trump
that,
is
though.
not taking anything from the PACs or anything. Well, you are for Trump, aren't you?
Yes, I did vote for him.
Yes, I did.
But I
too.
probably won't ever vote again. No, not because of Trump, but because I know this and they're lying about everything.
Well, you know what? If they're lying about that, Trump is the one that'll
No!
call him out on that.
My second cousin.
If it is to be, it's up to me. We all have to do this.
You can't have those signs on this property.
Is this not a sidewalk?
No, it's not. You're leaning them up against private property. You either remove them
what's
now
up,
or I'm
buddy?
going to call the police.
I thought this was a public road
I am
here.
the president of the club.
Is this a road?
This is not
It's not a road?
property. You cannot lean them up against our facility. You need to take them. You can.
Hey, there's no need to speak anymore. I'm leaving.
Please do. Thank you.
No problem.
Somebody called on you.
No, that's all right.
I'm the president of the club. I stopped it. You have to leave. Thank you.
Uh-oh, here's another one.
Ignorance reigns. Yes, you are. It is a firehouse, and I knew that, but it was a sidewalk, and there's a frickin' road there. So I thought it would be okay, but I guess not. Well, I did my job. I found a girl who was right on top of things, and Probably a Freemason. Probably a frickin' Freemason. That's what he is. A Freemason. That's what he is. Lying scumbag Freemason.